Yandy was always the villain, painted as the nice girl. She was never the girl they portrayed her to be. Hey everyone, it's your girl Receipts with Rel. Today we are going to be breaking down my top 5 villains of reality TV. Now these villains aren't your typical ordinary villains, okay? They were actually painted in a good light on the show. But we all know looks can be deceiving, and the directors and editors have a way of painting people that they like in a better light, if you know what I mean. Most of these shows have the villain that everyone hates, and then they have the nice girl that everyone loves. But do y'all really know what be going on behind the scenes? Go ahead, go get your wine of choice, go get your water, your tea, and let's talk. Coming in at number 5, none other than Yandy from Love and Hip Hop, New York. Y'all, she was one of the biggest reality TV villains for me. She was always a villain, and I never liked her, but surprisingly, she is a fan fave. Ra Ali said it best. Nobody can say it better than Ra Ali. She said that Yandy is the type to always pretend she doesn't know what's going on, and people fall for it.
Sounds like you may have been a pawn in a petty game. She knows that. How do you feel if that's true?
If it started out as a pawn, I didn't know that. So I genuinely opened my arms.
You don't never know nothing, girl. You always don't know something.
No, I didn't.
That's what I can't take. I know she knows. That's all I can't take is that
I didn't know that. I can't.
And I could respect you if you keep it real. I don't check my hashtags. I didn't know she had a problem with her. I didn't know you and Remy had a problem.
Okay.
Stop it.
All right.
Stop.
Let Yandy respond to what you're saying.
Let you finish, right?
What I have with her is that she always pretends that she's oblivious. I have problems with one of her friends.
Okay.
She know that me and this girl got major issues. Instead of her being like this, look. Yeah, Ryan and my girl got problems. That got nothing to do with me. Anyway, Remy, what you need, flowers? She's like,
Why would that?
they have problems?
Yandy is the queen of playing oblivious. If y'all pay attention to her mannerisms, every scene she does, her magic is, I don't know, that didn't have nothing to do with me. I wasn't there. I didn't see that. Just look at the way she did her best friend, Kimbella. I can't even understand how they were best friends for so long. She literally stood there when Kimbella was getting dragged by Chrissy, only for her to bring it up over 10 years later and laugh about it, brag about it. Like, oh, it ain't my fault you got dragged by Chrissy. Y'all gotta watch out for friends like that, because the whole time she thought that situation was so funny, and she's the one who introduced Kimbella to these girls. It was several times where she just kind of left Kimbella hanging. Do y'all remember when the producers brought the baby mamas on the show? Mendeece's baby mamas, Samantha and Erica came on the show, and Yandy couldn't stand them. She could not stand them. So I know she didn't have nothing to do with that storyline, because she was in her feelings. She was flustered when the baby mamas, but we're going to get to that. Kimbella showed up to Erica's son's birthday party, and she wasn't invited, and she got bashed for it because they were like, why you showing up with your sneakers on and your fighting gear looking like you getting ready to fight somebody at a kid's birthday party? And they were asking Yandy, did she know anything about it? And Yandy was like, no. Yandy held on to that lie for as long as she could, and Kimbella was like, I'm not feeling that. You just left me hanging.
Was a paparazzi stunt. What I did say was, I hope that you did foster her for the right reasons. That's what I said. What I mean, don't reference none of my children. Don't reference any of your children. And then furthermore, I feel like now you're using this to play the victim, because we haven't even resolved the other that I've been talking about. What is the issue? Talk about it. The issue is that you still lying about the guy. The facts that at the end of the day, I pulled up, and you know I pulled up because you asked me to be there.
Oh my God! You're talking about this party with the baby mothers again? Why is she here?
I can't call him now without being Are you crazy?
The truth of the matter is, you pulled up because we were devising a plan to get you a check.
You a liar! Me and Yandy came up with a plan for me to show up at Little Mendeece's birthday party. My friend asked me to be there, and that is my loyalty to her.
It was about this drama I had with Mendeece's children's mother. I never wanted you there with them face to face. Like, when those reunion tapes played and I sat there like, look, it had me looking crazy.
It sounds like you knew that she was in front before.
She called me right when she was already there. In that very moment, I could have cleared the air.
You have put cars in your name for him. You might have put a crib in your name for him, but it doesn't solidify a position with you.
Another thing that people didn't really pay attention to is Yandy was very much threatened by his baby mother, Erica. That's a hill I'm willing to die on. Now, I know the optics made it look like the baby mother was bitter, and she was, but Yandy was also bitter as well. If you really dissect the timeline, her and Yandy were messing with Mendices at the same exact time. Actually, the baby mama was first. The baby mama had her son 10 months before Yandy. Now, how does that make sense, y'all? Y'all mean to tell me that Yandy and Mendices were in a committed relationship? They've been in a committed relationship this whole entire time. Everything is perfect. And then all of a sudden he has a baby with someone else 10 months before he had a baby with Yandy. And the thing is, we never even knew about the son until seasons later. They kept that secret hidden, I think, until after the wedding because the little boy was in the wedding. One thing I noticed is that production pretty much just went with whatever storyline Yandy gave them, and they wasn't really trying to hear what the other baby mamas, Samantha and Erica, ever had to say. It was always whatever Yandy says goes. But truth be told, he was in a relationship with his other baby mamas as well, and he was in a relationship with Erica the same time as Yandy. But it's very obvious that he chose Yandy because she was the one with more clout. She was the one that could do more for him in his legacy. I also thought it was always strange the way that she treated Samantha when her and Samantha had no reason to beef. Samantha was years and years ahead of her. Like, Little Mendices was around before any of them. When she called her cousin Keisha to the reunion to jump on Samantha, I thought that was the lowest of the low. But once again, when people brought it up to her, production even brought it up to her, she said she didn't know. I don't know what happened. I didn't see it. Ra Ali might tell a joke, but she'll never tell a lie.
And I think Keisha feels bad because Keisha loves your son and it wasn't planned. It wasn't you go backstage and make sure you attack her. That's not even my style. And
yes, it is, Yandy. That's very much your style, and it's been proven time and time again. But I got to give it to her because she managed to be like the Mother Teresa and play this good girl image. She had her run. It lasted a few years before people finally started to catch on.
She wants to discuss with Karen, and she wants everyone to hear it because there seems to be two sides of the story.
Coming in at number 4 is Drita. Drita, my girl, Drita D'Avanzo. I loved her personality, but she was a villain. Drita came into the situation because Karen introduced her. And Karen ended up falling back because, her father got indicted. He was labeled as a rat. Karen went to go start a whole new life. She kind of disappeared from the whole Italian mob scene, right? During that time, Drita started to become accustomed to that lifestyle. So while Karen was getting out of it, Drita was just getting into it. And Karen and Drita were really good friends. And I guess Drita thought that Karen wasn't never coming back. So she started sleeping with her ex-man. Boom, they get married and start a whole family together. What I didn't like about that situation was Drita could never own up to it. She could just never own up to the fact, like, girl, you slept with your friend, man. It is what it is. They ain't together no more. It's in the past. But she went as far as lying to say, oh, we weren't friends. We fell out. I hadn't talked to you in years when I started sleeping with him. But it was later proven that that wasn't true. Her and Karen never fell out. They always remained friends. And you just decided that you wanted her ex-man. It is what it is. I just didn't like how you was always trying to play her. I ain't like how production was trying to play her either. They always made Karen look like the villain, but it was several times that Drita got caught up lying. And baby, karma don't miss because her and that little husband, they didn't do too well. I'm not sure if they still together, but I know that situation didn't work out well because even when he was in prison, he was calling from the prison homes, calling home, disrespecting her, calling her every name but the name that her mama gave her. Do you hear me? But Drita was good for TV. She made good reality TV. Honestly, her and Evelyn kind of remind me of each other. They always reminded me of each other. They just, literally the same person. I wonder if they the same sign.
I never denied that we had a friendship.
Hold up. Are you the same bitch that said we weren't friends?
It's important to state the fact that I was not your friend when I hooked up with Lee.
We were always friends. We never stopped being.
Okay, and reigning in at number 3, she's kind of an obvious one, but Tyra Banks. Y'all, I grew up watching this show, and when I got older and they started exposing her on TikTok, I feel like my childhood was ruined. And they didn't even really expose her. It was like, once you get older and you just watch the reruns, you start looking at everything completely different. Tyra was so tough on those girls for no reason. And I could see if she was actually like instilling some valuable discipline in them about things that actually mattered. But the things that she would fuss at these girls about was just so, it was very mean girl bully. I went through it, so you got to go through it too. This iconic scene right here, we all thought she did something. We thought Tyra ate this one little thing right here, and she did. She thought she did. But when you look back at it, she was really trying to break that girl's spirit. She was really trying to break her spirit, and she was upset because that girl did not cry that she got kicked off the competition. What type of mess is that? So the white girl ended up crying because she got eliminated. But because old girl next to her didn't cry, Tyra made her come back and started yelling at her, telling her that she was unappreciative. Interesting.
Quiet! That's what it's supposed to be. Stop it! I have never in my life yelled at a girl like this. When my mother yells at this, it's because she loves me. I was rooting for you. We were all rooting for you. How dare you? Learn something from this.
And we can't even begin to scratch the surface of the hideous makeovers that she used to have them do. I think Tyra Banks her whole ideology was, if they got long hair, give them short hair. Chop all their hair off. And if they got short hair, add extensions. If they're brunette, turn them blonde. If they're blonde, turn them brunette. It was really no originality. Back then, I was thinking like, ooh, this is high fashion. This is high fashion. But no, it was literally just, I'm going to do the opposite of what you look like. And if you cry about it, oh well. Coming in at number 2 is the Shaunie O'Neal herself. This show was one of the best shows for me to watch. I was so hooked on it for so many years. I literally just stopped watching when OG... Y'all remember the season when OG was on there, right? Now, I could have listed Evelyn as a villain, as she very much was, but I felt like that was too obvious, okay? I think it's time for us to start calling out these executive producers, directors, because no matter what Evelyn did, Shaunie always had her back. Shaunie always made sure Evelyn was painted in a positive light. But what really ticked me off was when they said that OG was aggressive. They kept talking about how aggressive OG was, how she was violent. She didn't put her hands on nobody. She wasn't the one climbing on tables and stuff. That was all Evelyn. But when Evelyn did it, you know, they always gave an excuse for her. So there was a lot of colorism in this show that I didn't even pay attention to until I got older. And when you look back, it's just very, very sad how Evelyn was just always given a pass for everything. Like, the undertones of colorism and racism in this show were wild. Miss Mona Scott, you earned the number 1 spot. Congratulations, sis. Now, I told y'all I was starting to come at these producers. They the real villains. The ones who executive produce these shows and direct. Anybody who's behind these shows are the villains. I remember when I found out that Mona Scott was Haitian. I was so proud because my dad's side of the family comes from Haiti. And so I was like, oh, okay, if she can do it, I can do it too. But it's like, what? Do what? Do what? Like, pit beautiful black women against each other? Create crazy storylines that end up in real fights? Take an opportunity of a show that could have been actually about hip-hop and turn it into a soap opera? There was not much positive that really came out these shows. There weren't a whole lot of stars being created. Only thing it really did was give the expired stars, the people who had already fell off, it gave them another platform. It gave them, a chance to put some money in their pocket and stay relevant or become relevant again. There were a few exceptions to the rules, though. There were a few people who actually used the platform and did what they needed to do. Cardi B. Cardi B is probably the number one example. Cardi B is their number one success story, and they never give her accolades. I wonder why that is. But yeah, at any rate, Mona Scott, I think that going forward, now that you've built the platform, you've built your brand up, right? I think that now is the time for you to use your platform for good. Show these girls what it's like to become something positive. We've seen enough of the reality shows with the drama, and Love and Hip Hop isn't even Love and Hip Hop anymore. There's no love, there's no hip hop. It's just completely lost its meaning and its name. So do better, Mona. That's all the time that I have for today. Let me know if there are any other reality series that you want me to cover or any other villains that you want me to cover. As always, this is still a growing platform. So if you want to support me, the best way you can do that is to like, subscribe, and comment underneath this video. And I will catch y'all next time.